Hey, welcome. So, you know that feeling, right? You're staring at that spinning beach ball of death, wondering where on earth your max speed disappeared to. Well, if that's you, you are in exactly the right place. We're going to walk through the essential steps to get your machine feeling brand new again. Does this look familiar? That spinning wheel, apps taking an eternity to open up, just that sluggish feeling. It is so frustrating. But here's the good news. It's almost always fixable. So what we've done is boiled down all the most effective tricks into a really simple step-by-step guide. By the end of this, you won't just have a few tips, you'll have a whole toolkit to keep your Mac running like a dream.
We're going to kick things off with some quick wins. You know, the easy fixes that can give you an immediate and very satisfying boost in performance.
So where do we even begin? Well, before we can fix the problem, we got to find the culprit. And luckily, your Mac has this kind of built-in detective that shows us exactly which apps are secretly hogging all the resources. That tool is called the Activity Monitor. Once you open it up, you really just want to focus on two key tabs: CPU, which is like your Mac's brain power, and Memory, which is its short-term workspace. Just look for any app that's using a crazy high percentage of either one. If it's an app you're not even using, maybe it's just running in the background, that's your prime suspect. All you got to do is select it, hit that little X button, and shut it down. Boom, you've instantly freed up some power. Okay, another classic bottleneck is the startup process. I mean, if you have to go make a whole pot of coffee every time you turn on your Mac, this next tip is definitely for you. We can actually control exactly what launches when you log in. Head over to your login items and you'll probably find a whole list of apps that just decided to start up with your Mac. You know, things like Spotify or Dropbox or those Adobe updaters, they love to sneak in here. Just ask yourself, do I really need this thing running the second I log in? If the answer's no, just select it and hit that little minus button. And don't worry, this doesn't delete the app. It just puts you back in charge of when it opens. All right, so now that we've handled what's running on your Mac, let's talk about what's being stored on it. Because a hard drive that's almost full can be a major performance killer. So our next mission is to reclaim some of that precious disk space. And the best part? You don't have to go on some wild goose chase hunting for random files to delete. Apple actually built some really powerful storage management tools right into macOS to guide you through this whole process nice and safely. Just navigate to the Manage Storage section and you get this amazing dashboard. The options here are just fantastic. Store in iCloud is perfect for offloading those huge files you don't need every single day. In Optimize Storage, this is genius. It automatically gets rid of things you've already watched, like TV shows. It is by far the fastest way to clear out gigabytes of junk without having to think too hard about it. Now, for those of you who want to go a little deeper, we can start targeting cache files. These are basically temporary files that apps create to speed things up. But over time, the cache from old apps you don't even use anymore just becomes, well, it's just dead weight. And here's a cool little pro tip for getting to a hidden folder. In the Finder, just hit Command-Shift-G and then type in this exact path. This zips you directly to where all your apps store their temporary cache files. Now, the key here is to look for folders from apps you know you've deleted. Those are just digital leftovers, and it's totally safe to just drag them to the trash. But, and this is a really important warning, be careful in this folder. Only delete the caches for apps you are positive you don't use anymore. If you delete the cache for an app you still use, you're not going to cause any permanent damage, but you might just reset its preferences. And that's a headache nobody needs. All right, so if those easy fixes didn't quite do the trick, it's time to level up. We're going to move on to some deeper, system-level solutions for those really stubborn issues.
Okay, this next one is the absolute foundation of a healthy Mac. It's totally non-negotiable. Software updates aren't just about getting new emojis. No, they're packed with critical performance improvements, bug fixes, and security patches that keep your whole system running at its best. You should make this a regular habit. First, check for system updates right in your system preferences. Then pop over to the App Store and get your app updates. Or, even better, just enable automatic updates for both of them. Seriously, set it and forget it. Your Mac will thank you for it. Now, what if you're experiencing some really weird behavior? I'm talking about issues with fans going crazy, or weird battery charging problems, or display connections acting up. There are a couple of deeper resets you can try. This is less for general slowness and more for those specific quirky problems. And this is a great illustration of a major difference between Mac models. If you have an older Intel-based Mac, you can do these things called an SMC and PRAM reset using special keyboard shortcuts when you start up. However, if you've got a newer Mac with an Apple Silicon chip, these resets are basically obsolete. The whole system architecture handles this stuff automatically now, so a simple restart is often all you need to do.
Okay, for our final section, let's look at some pro-level tips and even some hardware upgrades for those of you who want to squeeze every single last drop of performance out of your machine.
So here are 3 awesome pro-level software tricks. First, run First Aid in Disk Utility. It's like a checkup for your file system. It finds and fixes hidden errors. Second, reduce the visual effects in your accessibility settings. This actually frees up graphics power, and it makes everything feel way snappier. And finally, this one always surprises people. Clean up your desktop. Every single icon is like a tiny window that the Finder has to manage, so a clean desktop literally means a faster Finder. Now, if you've tried all the software fixes and your older Intel Mac is still chugging along, a hardware upgrade can be a total game changer. It can breathe years of new life into your machine. For the biggest bang for your buck, you want to focus on 2 upgrades. Number 1, without a doubt, is swapping an old spinning hard drive for a solid-state drive, an SSD. The difference isn't small, it's radical. Your boot times and app loading become almost instant, and if you're someone who always has a dozen apps open at once, adding more RAM will let you multitask smoothly without that dreaded slowdown. So what's the ultimate takeaway from all this? Well, a fast Mac isn't about some single magic fix. It's really about developing a few good habits, regularly cleaning out the clutter, always staying updated, and just being a little more mindful of what's running on your machine.
The power to bring your Mac's performance back from the brink is truly in your hands. So the question is, which one of these tips are you going to try first?